everybody is after knowledge these days, am I right? And the standard of mature knowledge is increasing. Just like at one time, and in my student days, if you had a bachelor's degree, it was a big thing. But today, if you have a bachelor's degree, you can serve as a PM. If you really want some good job, then even a master's degree is nothing, isn't it? At one time, if you had an MBBS degree, you'd be a top doctor in an MBBS. But today, an MBBS degree, even in India, you just get a job where you admit the patients and take their biodata. But you're not allowed to treat the patient. If you want to treat a patient, then you have to have MD, specialization, then you'll have some value. So what I'm trying to make you understand is, the standard of knowledge which is acceptable in society is increasing day by day. What was at one time considered knowledge, today doesn't mean much. So this is mature knowledge. Then there is spiritual knowledge. It enables you to understand who you are, where are you coming from, where are you headed for. In the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains this point, where he explains that the soul is eternal, permanent, the body is perishable. We all have a soul in our body. Do you know that? We see consciousness. What is the proof of consciousness? You can think, feel, act, communicate. And why is this consciousness there? Because the Atma or the soul is there in the body. And when this Atma or soul leaves the body, does the body have any value? The body has no value. As long as you're alive, something happens to your body, you will pay any price, but you want to cure it, am I right? But when the soul leaves the body, then do you bother it? You don't bother it. So, Bhagavad Gita explains, there is Atma, and the nature of this Atma is, you can't hear in the back. Really? It's a small room. The microphone was getting a bandage. The hands were injured. Can you hear in the back now? And previously you couldn't hear? So, what we're trying to explain is, when Krishna says this knowledge, what does he mean by this knowledge? So one thing he means is, that he explains the nature of the soul, he explains the real identity, he explains how the soul never takes birth, never dies. He explains that just like we discard our old clothes and wear new clothes, the soul leaves one body, takes on another body. Then, what else does Krishna explain? Krishna also explains that there is a Supreme Lord, Ishvara. We explain that point. And the Vedas accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Then the Bhagavad Gita explains that Prakriti or material nature is working under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Just like rain. Do you think whose control? The Lord's control. Just like Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, food grains come from rainfall. And rainfall comes when you perform sacrifice. So if you don't perform sacrifice, there is no rainfall. Just like these days, the world is headed for a severe water crisis. You know that? Water shortage. In many parts of the world, especially in many parts of India, the water crisis has already started. And they are predicting that in future, wars will be fought not to get petrol, but to get water. Because without water you can't live. So, Bhagavad Gita explains that you will get water from rain if you do yajna or sacrifice. And if you don't do any sacrifice, then you won't get water. So Prakriti is also under the law. Then there is another element that is discussed in the Gita. That is the issue of time. Time is also the representative of the Supreme Lord. Krishna says, time I am the destroyer of everything. Just like we may have a very beautiful body. You may have been crowned, you may have been crowned Miss World or Mr. World. But is that beauty going to last permanently? It's not going to last permanently. So time will make sure that if you have a beautiful body today, it's not going to remain beautiful 20 years down the road. Time will make sure, even if you're very attached, let's say to your family members, wife, children, time will make sure that one day you will get separated. Is that right? So this is also discussed in the Bhagavad Gita. And then Bhagavad Gita discusses the need to perform akarma. Akarma means activities which are strictly in accordance with the Supreme Law. It's karma, vikarma, akarma. So these are briefly 5 different areas of knowledge that are discussed in the Bhagavad Gita. And the Bhagavad Gita consists of 18 chapters and 700 verses. Now, if we have this knowledge, then you know how to act. In the Bhagavad Gita, the need to acquire knowledge is strongly emphasized. In the 3rd chapter of the Gita, Krishna was questioned, how is one compelled into sinful acts even unwillingly? We know something is wrong, we still do it. And Krishna replies, it is lust only, the all-devouring enemy of the living entity, which is always burning like fire, it is never satisfied. Then he says, where this enemy is located? Where is it located? Where, who knows? Mind, intelligence and senses. But then he says, kill this enemy. How? With the weapon of knowledge. In other words, if you have knowledge, then you can discriminate between what's right and what's wrong. So Krishna is giving us, through the Bhagavad Gita, guidance so that we can lead a happy life. Now, everybody wants to be happy, am I right?